So the Avengers Infinity War is still ways off. But as it comes closer and closer, we start to want to hear more information. And we're getting more information. We've seen set photos, the first set photo, which revealed Guardians of the Galaxy's Peter Quill, Star-Lord, Spider-Man, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. So that gets us all pumped up for this movie. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some of the people that we're definitely going to see in this movie, some people that we're probably going to see in this movie, and then the ones that are absolutely, without a doubt, not going to be in this movie. Today on the Geek Review. Hi, I'm Brad Deaton. Let's just jump into it. Okay, so common sense dictates that there are some characters that we are absolutely going to see in this movie. You don't have to speculate. You know Captain America is going to be in it, Iron Man, the Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Falcon, War Machine, Bucky aka the Winter Soldier, Vision, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Thanos. Okay, so that's our big players. That's the ones definitely going to be in this movie. Now the ones that are being introduced into this movie that are been confirmed are all the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is exciting. So we've got Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Star-Lord, Gamora. And there's some within that group that may or may not show up. So some of the ones that's going to be joining us in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like Hondu, Nebula, and Mantis, they may show up, but it's not exactly clear yet. So that's, I'm putting on a maybe list. They might be there, they might not, but no confirmation yet. And with that pace, let's go into some others that aren't confirmed, but we may get a chance to see in this movie. That's Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and Agent 23. Those have been major players in this universe for a long time now. So you can probably count on seeing Samuel L. Jackson come in at some point, even if it's a small role, just to kick off the film. And keep going with the whole thing with S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that Agent Coulson could appear. Probably not. I think they're going to keep most of the TV shows away from this movie, which means we'll probably won't see the Defenders in this movie. Now, if we did see the Defenders in this movie, I think it would almost work. I think they'd have to do it in a specific way because those characters are not as big and bad as the ones we have in the movie. They haven't been built up to that stage yet. So as far as if we had like Thanos and minions like we've had in all the other Avengers movies where you have the big bad and then his minions, they would be street control. I imagine they would be the ones on the low level taking care of the minions and like just making sure the street is safe and saving civilians while the big battle happens. So it could work. I can imagine seeing Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones in this movie, but probably not likely since they're trying to keep the properties separated. You don't want each one to taint the other. While we're talking about minions and how Thanos may have minions on the ground to take care of some of these characters, like every other movie's done, who could his minions be? One of my speculations, not confirmed, I may be wrong, but could be the Skrull. This could be the chance to see them introduced into this universe, and that would be really cool. Now we're going to talk about one character that's definitely being introduced that we have not seen yet at all, and that would be Captain Marvel, which is really cool. We have female superheroes in this universe, but this will be the major one. This will be one that comes out that people have been wanting to see for a long time, and I'm very excited to see her being introduced into this movie. And others that I think, now this is just speculation. Now we're getting into speculation territory. So I could be completely wrong with what I'm about to say. But we know there's going to be characters in this movie that we do not know about yet. There's going to be some surprise players. So I started looking around and trying to see which ones I think they might be. What characters those might be. And I think there's two that I really feel confident could show up in this. So Guardians of the Galaxy, let's look back at that movie. One key thing in that movie was the Nova Corps. If you know comic books at all, you would know that Nova Corps sprung off of a superhero called Nova. Now, I don't know much about this character. That's about all I know. But they're in the same universe as Nova. We kind of know that. It's been kind of introduced. Now, the Nova Corps itself, I don't think will be in this movie. But could we see Nova? Yeah, this is we got Thanos coming down, the big bad from, all the galaxies. So could Nova show up to lend a hand? I absolutely believe that. And so do I believe that Adam Warlock could show up. Because if you look at the Infinity storyline in the comic books, Adam Warlock played a very major role. And I won't get into who that is, and I don't know much about the character, to be honest. But I know that in that storyline, he's the one that got all the Avengers and all the groups together to battle Thanos. So yes, I think there's a chance we could see him. So who are we not going to see? Who is definitely out? Who are we just out of luck on seeing play with the Avengers in this universe? Well, for one, we know X-Men. And that's copyright. Because of contracts and everything like that, X-Men's owned by another studio. And so Fox is not going to let X-Men characters be in this universe. And that's kind of bums you out, because the biggest thing with that is and I think it would clutter up the storyline anyway. I do. Having too many characters like that just thrown in especially the universe that X-Men has created, you would have to tie in everything, all the dirt that's in that universe. I'm not saying it's a bad universe. I love those movies, most of them. Let's not talk about X-Men 3. But throwing that in would take all their baggage too. So you'd have to include that in the universe, and that may get a little, might muddy up the water. But I would love to see Wolverine, and we're not going to see Wolverine again. Logan's the end, I think. But Wolverine clash with some of these characters, and Wolverine standing next to Captain America and Iron Man would just be, just be amazing. Wolverine and the Hulk, Wolverine and Spider-Man. But I think we're out of luck on that one. And the same thing goes for Deadpool, which really sucks, because Deadpool and Thanos have a really complicated relationship. And you could imagine how Deadpool gets on everybody's nerves, well, especially with Thanos. He gets under his skin because they're both in love with death. I know that sounds weird. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the comic books. But they're both in love with death, so of course they're mortal enemies. Anyway, so we're not going to see Deadpool in this because of the same thing, and that really sucks, because I'd love to see him interact with Spider-Man more than anything. So hopefully at some time or another we get to see that, but I doubt so. Now to talk about the final group I think we will not see in this movie. Final group of characters that, because of issues with contracts and other studios on them, we won't see, is the Spider-Verse. Don't get me wrong, Spider-Man is in this movie. That could confuse you because I said Spider-Man in the beginning. But his universe will not be included. I don't think so. And the reason I say it like that, I think the other characters like Venom and villains that was actually in the Infinity War storyline will not be included in this movie. Other Spider-Man characters like Black Cat, because Sony's still trying to jump off their own universe without Marvel. And those are the only characters they have to do that with. So, of course, they're not going to let them into another Marvel movie. I really don't think they're happy that they had to lend Spider-Man to them. But that was the only way to go, because they're at a dead end and they needed a jump start on their franchise. But I'm not going to get into that. I've already talked about that in another video that you can check out on my channel. That's about it. If I left anybody out, please let me know. If you have any speculations you'd like to share with me, please let me know in the comments below. This has been the Geek Review. I'll catch you next time.